What's up, everybody? This is Reverend Guns, and today we are going to take this Rock Island M200 completely apart and put it back together. This will also be the same procedure for the M206. So the first thing we want to do is do a safety check. Right here above the trigger is the cylinder release. If you pull that back, it'll allow you to pop the cylinder out, and you can look down and see that there's nothing in there. If there is, you push the rod in and it'll allow you to empty out the cylinder. Alright, so tools you're going to need. You need a little pair of pliers. Okay, I like the little bent ones, that's preference. You'll need a flathead screwdriver, something with a kind of a solid handle because you're going to whack with this, and a thumbtack. I'll show you what that's for here in a minute. So we're going to start with the basics and remove the grips. Got a screw right here. We're going to take that out, and that will separate or allow you to separate the grips off of the frame. It's kind of a long screw, so just keep going at it. Okay, there it is. Should be able to peel off the grips. We'll set those aside. Next, you want to flip the gun over, and you'll see a screw right here. This is what attaches the cylinder and crane, so we're going to remove that. And be mindful when you take this screw out, there is a spring and detent in it. Now, it's not going to shoot out at you, but when you remove this, you should be able to see it in there. So just kind of pour it out into your hand. And there's the spring and detent. Now what I do is put this back in the little cavity in the screw there, just so it stays together and it's ready for when we put it back together. Now if you pull the cylinder release again and pop the cylinder out, you should be able to just grab it by the crane here and slide it on out. Okay, we're going to finish disassembly of the cylinder here. There's a cap right here. These get pretty tight, so if you need to use pliers, use them. If you don't want to mess up the finish, put a piece of tape or a rag or something on here, because it can be very tight, but it will come loose. Okay, so unscrew it. This will allow you to take the arm off. Now you need to put tension on the back side here so the star will come out like that. Okay, and the star is screwed on there, so you're gonna need your little pliers and unscrew the star. This thing is very tight on there, so it might take a couple turns before you get the star off, but we got it off. Okay, there is a spring in there, so be careful when taking this out. Here's the ejector rod and spring. Here's the cylinder. Now we've got two little screws here and here. That will remove the side plate. So go ahead and break those loose and take those out. Alright, do not pry your screwdriver in here to get this side plate off. Use the handle and tap the handle, and it will jar the plate loose. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the side plate off. We can slide off the cylinder release in the cylinder release is a little spring. There are two arms here. One is for the cylinder, one is the hammer stop. They're just kind of sitting there, so you basically want to take those out first before you do anything else, so that they don't fall out somewhere. And they're just sitting on two little pegs, so just pull them off. Okay, next thing we're going to take off is the hammer spring. This is where the thumbtack comes in. The easiest way to do this is to pull the hammer all the way back, and you'll see on the very end there, where's my finger? There it is, right there's a hole. Okay, we're going to drop the tack in that hole, and now we can let go of the hammer. Okay, and that just relieved all of the tension off the hammer spring and rod. I don't advise taking this apart. If you need to, take the tack out. Once you take the tack out, it's a base and spring and rod. I'm not going to, just because it's pretty self-explanatory, and that'll make it a lot easier to reinstall when we go back through. Alright, the hammer is sitting on this peg right here. Basically, we want to pull back on the trigger to relieve some of the tension and just lift up on it. Okay, and I'm going to let go of the trigger. Right here is the cylinder lock itself. It's just sitting in there, so grab it by the peg and slide it out. Okay, now we're going to work on the trigger. It is sitting on this peg right here. Wiggle it off. There we go. That leaves the trigger return spring and the cylinder stop. We're going to do this spring first. You'll notice that the short end is in a little channel on the frame there. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to wedge in there, twist, and twist upward to get it to come out and over the frame so you can remove the spring. Okay, so go in, well, it just popped completely out for me. So this is two pieces. It's got a big spring and a little spring that slides over the long shaft of it. Alright, we've got the cylinder lock here, or stop. The best way I found to do this is to use your screwdriver to break it loose and get the arm. You need the arm to come down so you can pull it out. Don't grab the spring first. If you grab that and try and rip it out, you're probably going to kink it and mess up the spring. So I'm trying to get you to take out the cylinder stop itself. Let's see if I can do this up close. But it's sticking. Yeah, I need to set it down. Well, you're just not being nice, are you? There we go. So we've got the cylinder stop and the spring. Set that aside. And there you have it. You have your revolver completely stripped. Now, if you haven't noticed, I've been setting my parts from left to right here to make it really easy to identify what I need next when putting it back together. Alright, so let's grab the cylinder stop here. You notice there's a hole in it. One end of the spring goes in the hole. Okay, doesn't matter which end. Alright, this end of the spring that's out goes into this channel right here. Okay, so it's easy to put the spring in first, then compress it so you can put it right back on this post. Spring in the hole. Put the spring in the channel. Put it on the post. And it is kind of a twisting motion to get that. There we go. Should be back in there like that. If you feel the spring is not down far enough and even, you can use tip of your screwdriver, just kind of press it down and level it out. Now we're going to do the trigger return spring. Remember, it's got 2 springs. You want to put the little spring on the long arm, and it's going to go on this peg right here, and you're basically going to put the long arm in first, and then we're going to pull the short arm back into that channel that's in the frame there. So set it in, and I'm going to use my pliers to get a good grip on that small arm and yank it over and in the spot. Should look like that. You can see how it's down in that channel. Alright, we've got the trigger. The hole goes on this peg next to the cylinder stop there. And on the back side of the trigger there's a little channel right here. This is where the end of this spring goes in. So if you put, all you do is drop it in. If you drop it in with it completely, the trigger completely forward, okay, it should just naturally click when you pull it back, and now you know it's back in that channel. Alright, we've got the cylinder lock. Okay, one side is longer than the other, with the peg up and the long side going towards the front. You slide that in the back. There we go. Should look like that. Okay, I have it pushed forward all the way. The hammer has a hole. Goes on this peg right here. Okay, the easiest way to do this is to pull the trigger back all the way, then drop the hammer on that peg, and once you've got it in place you can release the trigger, and now we should have some functioning parts. See that? Alright, so what you're seeing is the cylinder stop go down when you pull the trigger, and you should be seeing the hammer move back when you pull it. Alright, now we're back to the hammer spring. Okay, now you'll notice it's kind of offset. The longer side needs to be towards the front of the frame here. And the reason why is because if you put it the other way, it won't allow you to put the grips back on, and then you got to take it apart back to this again just to flip it over. So you don't want it this way, you want it this way. Let me just drop it in there. and having that tack in there makes it real convenient. Now you notice it's got kind of a ball end. Okay, there is a little ball set recess in the hammer there. So go ahead and pull back the hammer, or you can pull the trigger, which is ever easier for you. So the ball sits in it, and then you just remove the tack. And now it's going to add some major tension, but it is back where it's supposed to be sitting. Okay? And then we got the two little fun arms. Okay? They're going to be placed in there in this orientation. If you look on the back side of the black arm here, there is a channel for this little spring to slide into. I'm going to show you the easiest way to put that on. Let me show you. You've got two pegs. You've got a peg here and a peg here. The silver one goes on the lower one, the black one goes on the upper one. Okay, and you want to put it in that order: the silver, then the black, and this will snap back into place pretty much on its own. So we've got the silver one, well, you just don't want to stay on there, do you? There we go. We got the silver one on, and now we're going to put the black one on. Now it is important that you keep talk about butterfingers tonight. There we go. Should be placed in like that. And then as you close the hammer, it's gonna put that spring in the back of that channel there for you. Okay? So press that down. Make sure everything's seated. Now we've got the cylinder release. Take the button. There's a little groove back here for the spring to go into. And I also want to point out this little channel right here. This is going to line up with the cylinder stop peg right here. And I'll show you how to do that. You'll see on this side plate here, there is a groove for the thumb release, for the cylinder release. So just put that little block inside. There we go. See, you got it in there. You'll also notice there's a little tit right here. You want to put that in first when putting the side plate back on. So top end first. And once you've got it pretty well lined up, start pushing your cylinder release back. It's spring loaded. Once you go back far enough, it should catch. Make sure it's all the way forward. It should catch. There we go. Now you can test it and make sure it is working. Now we can put the screws back into the side plate here. Now this isn't a game of strength. This is a lot like doing your lug nuts on your wheels. Get them started, even them off, and then just kind of alternate, make them snug. Alright. Set that aside. Now we're going to put the cylinder back together. A couple things I want to point out. One, you'll see a little notch here in the center. That'll be important. And there's two little pegs. Those will be important. So let's grab the ejector rod here, and when you pull back on the spring, you can see the channel. Okay, that channel goes into that little notch and lines up with it. It'll allow you to push it all the way through. So once you find it, line it up. Where is it? There it is. Found it. Alright, so next thing I want to point out is those little posts that I showed you here. Okay, there's two little posts. There are two little divots on the back side of the star here that correspond with them. One here, one here. Okay, when you're done tightening this, those little nipples, I mean, whatever you want to call them, should be fitting right into those. There's the channel at 6 o'clock. There we go. Now we'll screw the star back on. You might have to use your pliers to really tighten it down, because it does get difficult towards the end here. But once you get it tight, it should line up every which way here, so there's no gaps, no nothing. That means it's solid and in those pegs. Like this barely wiggles. It's hard to show you, but you'll get it once you it should just fall right into place every time. So let's grab the arm. Long end goes into the cylinder. Get your cap. Put that back on the end of the rod. And it doesn't have to be cranked down, just finger tight should be plenty. Alright, this little piece goes into this hole right here. You'll see a hole. So just drop it in. You want to keep it close. And slide it into the slot. And you should be able to snap the whole cylinder back into place. Once it's, there we go, seated correctly. Alright. Now we're going to put the screw back in for the crane. Remember, this is the one with the detent in it. So the spring and detent are already in it. I hold it upward like this. Hold the gun upside down. And get it started with my fingers. Twist it, 2, 3, 4 times. Whatever's comfortable for you. And then as you go to screw it in, it should easily screw in. If it stops you, that means the detent didn't line up correctly. Pull it out, do it again. Alright. Only thing left to do is the grips. Grips are pretty easy. It's got a shape cut out in the grip. Press those together. Make sure everything's stuck together. We got the grip screw. tighten that up. Now it doesn't need to be overly tight either. I try to make sure it's not really coming out the other side of the grip there. And there you have it. Everything's functional. We have just taken apart completely a Rock Island M200. This would also apply to the M206, and reassembled it. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and we will see you next time. Thanks for watching. I also offer the online course to get your Texas license to carry a handgun. It's the 4-hour class broken down into segments and saves your progress so you can do it at your own pace. After completing the course, you can print your certificate. Then it'll help you locate an instructor close to you, no matter where you are in Texas, so you can complete the shooting portion of the course. This is all certified by the Texas Department of Public Safety. Check it out at reverendguns.com. If you have any questions or comments, please add them below. Be sure to like and subscribe for more firearms education.